This is also revision to our previous lecture. In addition to giving you a revision of the previous topic, we also proceed on, right? And I am Professor Masum, will be with you to discuss about the operations management. Today, we'll ultimately discuss the definition of operations management, what operations management is. And after completing the chapter, you are ultimately going to know what is operations management. পরে কল দিব। Sorry, because of because I'm using mobile data. That's the problem.
স্যার ঠিক হয়ে গেছে।
So today, what we are going to learn from this lecture, we'll ultimately know what is operations management, and then we will know the role of operations management in business. Especially in every business, there is a production department, there is a operations department. Even if it is a service or providing organization, there is a service operations department. We will discuss the jobs or functions of the operations department of a business organization, and the role specifically the operations manager plays the role of value addition. If you can recall in our previous lecture, that value added means you will buy something and then you will add value, and the the amount of value added will be added with your buying price, and that will be your sales price, as we have given you a definition of value added. And we will discuss the describe the decisions that operations manager make, describe the difference between service and operations, manufacturing operations, identify major historical developments in operations management and current trends in operations management, and describe the flow of information between OM, operations management department, and the other business functions. So, if we want to say directly what is operations management, then we have to say that the management of the production department of a company is operations management. And if you can recall the definition of management from our previous lecture, and those who are the newcomer today also know about the definition of management. Definition of management, here we said that it is ultimately setting the objectives of the organization and then employing resources to achieve that objective. And to achieve the objectives or the set objective of the company, all managers carry out several common functions. The functions are: number one, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So these five functions of management is equally important for marketing manager, is equally important for the production manager, is equally important for the finance manager, accounts manager, is equally important for the human resource manager of a company. Human resource manager also make plan, they organize, they motivate, lead, and control. Finance manager also prepares financial plan, They organize the activities. They help staffing jobs. They also coordinate and control the financial activities. Similarly, marketing manager also set objectives. Marketing manager makes marketing plan. They organize, staff, lead, and control the marketing department's activities. And production manager is also a manager. So all managers are applying the general functions of management. The functions are once again planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. And if you can recall about the functions, the examples we have given for a production manager. Production management and operations management is ultimately carrying out the functions of this department, functions or carrying out the functions of the operations department is known as operations management. Then what are the activities the operations manager carry out in a company? Operations manager carry out 5 functions. Operations manager prepare plans. Operations manager prepare or organize the activities. Operations manager staff or help staffing the activities. Operations manager lead the people in their team. Operations manager control the activities. These are the 5 functions, and we have given you the examples. Examples of and you know that in an organization there are 3 layers of managers. Primary layer is the lower level managers, then mid level managers, then top level managers. So especially the planning done by the top level manager is known as the strategic plan. And how the functions of management, that is planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling, are applied by the operations manager. We can give you a short example by the lower level managers that we have repeated or we have given in our previous lecture, and now I am repeating because some of the newcomers have joined here in the classroom.
Sir, if you don't mind, may I bug you a bit? Sir, আপনি
Please, I can't hear you. Can anybody hear him?
No, sir, I didn't hear him properly.
No, sir, কেটে কেটে আসছে।
So, Mr. Moin, maybe there is a problem in your end. I cannot hear even a single word or any sound. So maybe it's important. It's important to add something in the classroom because you are also learned people. You may have some inventory to add. So if you are adding something that will be added advantage in the classroom and that will make the classroom effective, I believe. So you can add your comments. But for the moment, still, we didn't define operations management. We have only said that operations management means carrying out the functions of the operations department of a company.
স্যার
It is
অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমার কারেন্ট ছিল, দুঃখিত। অ্যাকচুয়ালি আমি স্যার তখন আজ করতে চাচ্ছিলাম যে স্যার অপারেশন ম্যানেজারের যে 5টা ফাংশনের কথা বলছিলেন স্যার, ওই 5টা ফাংশন যদি আরেকবার একটু বলতেন, আমি নোট করতেছিলাম স্যার।
Oh, I see. So, what are the functions of the operations manager? Or, in other words, what are the functions of the production manager? Functions of the production manager will give you an example. The example will make you more clear how these functions are being applied. The functions are: number one is planning, number two is organizing, number three is staffing, number four is leading, and number five is controlling. So, what is planning? Planning means making advanced decisions. Planning means advanced decision making. What is organizing? Organizing means grouping the activities to achieve the plan or to implement the plan, grouping the activities. And then staffing means when you will group the activities, you have to staff the wings, staff the groups. You have to fill the vacant positions. It is known as staffing. And leading, when you will fill the positions, people will be there. You have to lead these people. That is known as leading. In other words, we have said that leading means encouraging people to do their jobs willingly. And finally, in addition to leading and motivating, motivation is a part of leading. In addition to leading and motivating, what you have to do? You have to control them. And we have said what is controlling? We have said that controlling means setting a standard, comparing with the actual performance, and then take the corrective actions. So, three steps of controlling. One is setting a standard, then measuring the actual performance, and then finally finding out the deviations. That means standard and actual performance. What is the deviation? If there is any deviations, then find out the causes of the deviation and solving the problem. It is known as the controlling. So, let's explain the functions of the production management. We have given an example in your previous class about the jobs of the pharmaceutical production officer of a pharmaceutical industry. Today, we are giving you the same example for a textile company. There is a production department in a textile company, and there are three layers of management. Top manager of the production department, general manager, production, then mid-layer managers, assistant manager, manager, and lower level managers. The lowest level managers in our production department is known as the production officer. Production officer is the lowest level manager in a manufacturing company, in the production department. Now, how the production manager uses 5 functions of management to carry out his production management jobs. So, we have given you 1 day operations management example. So, the operations management will have 5 functions. One is planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. Now, production manager made a plan, planning, Planning means making advanced decision. The production manager now has taken the advanced decision that they, as a team, are going to produce 100 units at the end of the day. So it is advanced thinking. They are going to produce at the end of the day, the output will be 100. This is the planning by a production manager, lower level production manager. Is it clear, Moin, Mr.?
Yes, sir. Production manager is the lower level of managers, and they have also they work on the ground level, I believe. And
Good.
I think sometimes they took some decisions like improving the product quality, or
Good.
sometimes.
So we are coming just before discussing details about the production manager jobs. We are just linking that production manager is also a manager. That's what I am going to explain. So first, what they have done, they have made a plan to produce 100 units at the end of the day. And the second job, to produce 100 units at the end of the day in a textile company, you know that there are three groups of activities. Now organizing. Organizing means grouping of activities. One is cutting related activities. And there is sewing related activities. And another is finishing related activities, packaging and other finishing activities. So after planning to produce 100 units at the end of the day, the production officer now groups the activities. Three groups. One is cutting group, and another is sewing group, another is finishing group. This grouping of activities. This grouping of activities needs now people. This grouping of activities is known as organizing. Second job of the manager, organizing, is done. Now the third job of the manager is to fill the positions. It is known as staffing. Filling the positions. So they need one cutting master and 5 cutting workers. So the production manager will make sure that these people are available today. If you don't know whether the people is available or not, what you will do, you will discuss with the HR manager. You will discuss with the HR manager that one cutting master we need and 5 cutting workers we need. So you are doing third job, stuffing. Then in the sewing floor, you need 50 workers. So you found that only 25 workers are available. So what you will do, you will consult with the HR department that we need more 50 workers to produce 100 units. You are now doing stuffing jobs. The main job is done by the HR department, but you are playing the role of coordinator.
As a
Then
production manager.
as a production manager, you are doing some coordinating job. All right. So in the finishing department, you need also 2 inspector and 5 workers, 7 people. So you will also confirm that these people are there in the right place. If you have only one inspector, then you will send a requisition to the HR department. Please deploy one more inspector in our department today because we are going to produce 100 units. Without two inspector, you cannot produce. So stuffing is done, isn't it? Stuffing means all people are available now. Then the next job is leading. Leading means you have to influence them as a operations manager, as a production manager. What you have to do, you have to lead the people who are working in your three departments. The three departments are cutting department, sewing department, and finishing department, or cutting wing, sewing wing, and finishing wing. So you have to lead them. Leading means you will influence them. You will motivate them. You will be positive to them. So there are many different leading tools. Sorry, motivational tools and leading tools. This includes, say, for an example, Theory X.
Leading tools and motivational tools both are same.
To lead people, you need to motivate them. Otherwise, the people will not do their work. So there are a lot of motivational tools. This may be financial tools. This may be non-financial tools. Financial tools, say for an example, you can tell them that if you can achieve your target, you are going to get one bonus or 20% salary, more salary hike. So you are motivating them. Motivation is a tool of a leader. Leader's motivational tool. And there are a lot of motivational theories. Say, for an example, if you can recall from your management of organization course, that it may include theory X, theory Y. Theory X means that the people are reluctant to do their own job. They normally try to skip jobs or escape jobs. So force them to do their job. And theory Y tells that the people love their work. So you don't need to force them. So as a leader, you have to check whether your employees are theory X category people or theory Y category people as a leader. If they're theory X category people, you have to force them. If they're theory Y category people, Japanese people, Chinese people, Korean people, they're theory Y, they follow theory Y. They love to do their work. But Asian people, Asian means South Asian, Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, these people are not interested to do their work properly. They like not to do work. So you have to force them.
Sir, why is this issues comes in what is it, why is this difference actually, sir?
So it is the theoretical differences. It is because, so do you like to do work? What was your assigned job today?
স্যার আপাতত যদি বলতে জিজ্ঞেস করেন সেক্ষেত্রে আজকের কাজ হচ্ছে আমার আপনি ক্লাসে কি করাইতেছেন সেই জিনিসটা গুরুত্ব সহকারে বোঝায় এবং সেটা নিজে বোঝা।
So you are participating in the class properly. So that's why you are listening to lecture good. But maximum students in my classroom are not interested to continue 3 hours lecture. Do you know that? Or 2.5 hour lecture at least minimum.
Actually, sir, it depends on
Many of my
other
students, say for an example,
person's
let's
perspective. Actually, what they
let's
want.
count. Mr. Alif, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Good. And Mr. iPhone, who is iPhone? Rename, please. and one is iPhone Umama.
Sir, actually, if you don't mind, may I share with some thoughts with you? May I share some thoughts with you?
Why not?
Sir, actually, you said there's some difference. For example, Japanese likes to work, do their work, but as our country's perspective, we don't like to do our work, right? So I think
Once again, we cannot hear you.
जी सर और मैं भी नेट प्रॉब्लम
facing some network issues,
So
I believe.
maybe you are interested to share that the
Yes,
Bangladeshi
actually,
people. Yes, please.
yes, I think, sir, Bangladeshi peoples or Asians peoples don't like their work because maybe they actually work to do some kind of work because they don't have that much opportunity to do their work, so they actually choose their work background or a workplace by forcefully
Course.
to for having a work. Sometimes every people don't have the choice of what they like, what they don't. In our country, for example, we have a lot of populations, so we don't have much choice of choosing what we are going to do, what we are becoming or going to become. Sometimes it's a challenge because not everyone have that opportunities or abilities to choose what they want to become. So sometimes I believe this is the practical fact that people want to become something or want to do some kind of work, but actually eventually they can't reach that goal, but they have to do some kind of work, so they choose another platform or place
Okay.
to do their work, maybe.
Okay, Mr. Moin, I've got your point. Maybe we have all got your point. That means career choice is a matter. You should choose your own career. It is important. But because of scarcity of jobs, you cannot choose your own career path. That is the problem. That is true. But by nature, those who we are the professionals, we have some experience with the people. The experience is that I was the dean of the school. I was the chairman of, I still am the chairman of the department or head of the department, as you know. So, as a manager, when I say to my subordinates, my colleagues to do some jobs, they primarily say that they primarily try to skip the job. They try to hand over the jobs to the other people rather than doing by themselves. It is the natural tendency of our people. But if you go to Korea, China, Japan, you will find that they are not trying to skipping the jobs that is assigned to him. Rather, they are very much interested to finish their job on time. So this is because of the human traits, nature of the human. They
Sir,
like
I
to do
believe
their
it's
jobs,
more
but in our country,
layered.
maximum people do not want to do their jobs. There may have some
Sir, actually, I
viewpoints.
think it's the environment effects. Actually, do you really think it should be actually nature or the our environment that makes
It
us
is,
to think like that?
I think that the matter is related to our education system. Our childrens are going to schools. Who are the school teachers? Maybe the most or least meritorious student is the school teacher. Least meritorious. When I was the student in my school life, the least meritorious student is now the primary school teachers. So they don't have the caliber to teach the students properly. So our children are not learning in a proper manner. It is the number one problem, I think, and from my experience.
স্যার
Because
আর
I have
একটা জিনিস আমার মনে হয় যে আমাদের কারিগরি শিক্ষার দিক থেকে অনেক দুর্বলতা আছে, বিশেষ করে মানে কর্মমুখী শিক্ষার যে মানে ধরনের কথা যদি বলি স্যার, আমাদের দেশে আমি মনে করি স্যার কারিগরি টেকনিক্যাল পড়ালেখা বা টেকনিক্যাল নলেজের খুবই অদক্ষতা রয়েছে স্যার, এটা আমার কাছে মনে হয়।
so we are not sending our children to the technical educations. There is another problem. Okay, for the moment, I got your point. We can discuss it later. But for the moment, we are dealing with the production management. Production management. So, as a leader, you have to identify whether your subordinates are theory X or theory Y follower. X means they are not interested to do their job. You have to force them. And Y means they are very interested to carry out their job. So encourage them to do their job. So as a leader, now you are leading your people. After leading, what you have to do, you have to control the activities. What is controlling? Controlling means now you have what is your standard. Today you are going to produce 100 units, isn't it? It is your standard. Now, at the end of the day, you will measure the actual performance. Measure the actual performance means that you will check how many units you have produced at the end of the day. So measurement of the actual performance. Now you found that the actual performance is 120 units. So your standard was 100 and your actual performance is 120 units. That means 20 units surplus. So you do not need to find the causes. So this is your controlling. You do not need to do any activities because your objective has achieved properly. Now, it may be another scenario. Your target was 100 units, but at the end of the day, you have found that actual performance is 80 units. So there is a deficit of 20 units. Then you have to find out the causes. Why your actual performance is below than the planning. So finding out the causes and solving the problems, or solving the causes is, controlling. So this is how production manager is a manager, and he ultimately makes plan, organize, helps staffing, lead people, and control the activities. So production manager is also a manager. Production manager is also a manager. Is it clear? Whether production manager is a manager or not? Just a moment, take 1 minute break. It's a home environment. Sorry. So have you got the idea what is production management? Production management is also operations management. Production management and operations management is same. So management means planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. Production management means management of the operations department. Management, planning of the operations activities, organizing of the operations activities, staffing of the operations activities, leading of the operations activities, and controlling of the operations activities is known as operations management or production management. Or in other words, carrying out the functions of this department is known as operations management. Operations management. And now you can check the definition here. The business function responsible for planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling the resources needed to produce products and services for a company is referred to as operations management. Is the definition clear? We have tried to give you the definition with an example. Example is to producing the resources needed to produce products. And services for a company is referred to as operations management. Operations management concerns for product, process, and supply chain. While the operations manager is very much concerned about the time, cost, quality, and flexibility. So these are the 7 most important factors that the operations manager must take care always while they are converting inputs into outputs. What is operations management? Primarily, we said that it is the business function that is responsible for planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling the resources needed to produce products. Then we can say the operations management is the management of converting inputs into outputs. So, say for an example, in a garments factory, they buy fabric inputs. And after buying fabrics, what they do? They convert it into dress, shirt, isn't it? So inputs are fabric, outputs are shirts. The operations manager adds some value. Operations manager adds some value to convert inputs into outputs. Say for an example, you are the production manager. You bought fabric for $10. Now, what you are going to do? You are employing labor. You are providing labor charge. So labor charge, it is value added. You are adding accessories, button, etc. You are adding values. So while you are converting inputs into outputs, you are adding value. So labors are working. Then additional materials you are adding. Then you are also using overhead. Overhead, say for an example, electricity bill. You are using machines, the depreciation of the machines. So these are all important. These are all known as the value added. So operations manager converts inputs into outputs. The operations manager adds value, and the operations manager is also responsible for productivity improvement. Productivity improvement means inputs and outputs relationship. Say, for an example, you can produce 2 units by using 4 units input. So output is 2 unit divided by 4 unit. That means 0.5 is your productivity. But if you can produce 3 units using 4 inputs, so 3 divided 4, what will happen? Your productivity will improve. Your productivity will improve. This productive improvement is known as efficiency. So you can say, what's your input? Or say, for example, productivity, calculation of productivity. The operations manager, the functions of the operations manager. Number 1 is inputs into outputs. All right. So input divided by output divided by input equals productivity. Now, say for an example, your input is 4 units and your output is 6 units. So what is your productivity? Output divided by input. Your productivity is 1.5. All right. So as a operations manager, what you have to do, you have to improve your productivity. And improvement of productivity may be, for example, next time you produce your output has increased to 7 units. 7 units. And your input remains same, 4 units. So what will be your new productivity? Output divided by input. Are you getting? Your productivity is now 1.75. So it is your previous productivity and it is your current productivity. So because of improvement of productivity, your inputs remain same, but the output has increased because of your performance. As a production manager, how will you say that your performance is better? By improving productivity. And this improvement of productivity is known as efficiency. What is the efficiency here? Your 1.75 and 1.25. So 0.25 is your efficiency. 0.25 is your efficiency. That means now you are a good manager. But it may happen that your input in 2025, say for example, in 2025, your input is 25 units and output is 50 units. not 50, say for example, 36 units. What is the productivity in 2025? Can you tell me? Mr. Moin, what is the productivity?
1.44.
Productivity is
44.
1.4. So if you think that this is the productivity in 2024, this is the productivity in 2023. So can you say that whether your productivity has improved or declined?
Decline, sir.
Declined. So that means you are inefficient production manager. The conclusion is that you are a inefficient production manager. That means how the performance of the operations manager will measure. The performance of the operations manager will measure by using efficiency. That means your efficiency has declined. Your productivity is 1.75. Now your productivity is 1.45. So your productivity has declined by some 0.31 points. 0.31 points. So your productivity has declined. What you have to do, you have to make sure that your productivity is increasing. And productivity is related to your input-output ratio. Productivity is related to input-output ratio. All right. And as a production manager, you are responsible to add value. What is add value? Add value means, here again go back to your worksheet. Usually this type of discussions we do in our whiteboard, as whiteboard is absent here. That's why we are using Excel for the moment. Say for an example, your input is fabric, isn't it? Fabric to produce shirt input. What is the input? Fabric, isn't it clear?
Sir, button এগুলো input হবে। Add
Input.
value তে হবে।
Fabric.
So, say for an example, you are a garments production manager. You buy fabric. What do? You buy fabric to produce shirt. So, sorry. To produce shirt, your input is fabric and output is shirt. To produce shirt, what you have to do? You have to add labor, isn't it? Say for an example, your fabric cost is $25. What is the fabric cost? $25. And your labor charge is $5. Your land rental charge is more $5. Your interest is more $5 because maybe you are thinking that it is your own capital, but in today's world nobody can run the business without the help of bank. So you are collecting fund from outside, interest $5. And as a owner of the company, you must need some profit, isn't it? It is also one kind of value added. Entrepreneur's profit. Entrepreneur's cost, or it is known as profit, another $5. So what is the total value added? Total value added is
45.
not 45.
50.
5, 5, 5, and 5. 4 factors contribution, $20 is your value added. Are you getting what is your value added here?
Yes, yes.
Value added. And what will be the sales price? Sales price value added, your raw materials cost plus your value added. Your sales price will be $45. So the operations manager is responsible to add value. Add value means these are the components of the add value. Are you getting? Sometimes we say that what is value added? Value added means sales price minus raw materials cost. Raw materials cost. Then what is the sales price here and what is the raw materials cost? Sales price is 45 minus raw materials cost is 25. Is value added. Is it same here? This value added and this value added?
Yes, sir.
So you can alternatively calculate sales price minus the raw materials cost. This raw materials are not produced by yourself. This is outside raw materials. Raw materials outside raw materials. So
Sir, if you
sales.
mind একটা কথা বলার ছিল স্যার।
Sorry.
স্যার আপনি তো ক্লাস রেকর্ড করতেছিলেন, রাইট স্যার? স্যার যদি কিছু মনে না করেন, একটা রিকোয়েস্ট ছিল, আপনি কি ক্লাসের রেকর্ডটার পরে আমাদের একটু দিয়ে দিতে পারবেন?
দিয়ে দেবো।
আমাদের জন্য
We'll
ভালো
give you
হতো।
the record. So what is value added is clear. This is value added. This is also value added. Same thing. Same definition we are coming from. You can get the definition in two different way. All right. So it is the job of the operations manager. It is the job of the operations manager to add value. And we have said that it is operations manager's transformation role. Operations manager's transformation role is to add value. That means increase product value at each stage, isn't it? Maybe you are thinking that what is increase value at each stage. Then you can go back to our previous example here. So you buy fabric, $25. Then what is the next job? Cutting, is it? Don't you think that you need to pay the wages and salary for the cutting people? $2 maybe. Then swing. So every stage your value is increasing. Now your value is 27. Now swing cost is more $2. So it is increasing, isn't it? Your value is increasing at each stage, isn't it? Then finishing. Finishing means ironing, packing, etc. More $1. So your value is increasing at each stage, is it? Are you getting what is increasing?
Yes, sir.
Product value at each stage. Operations manager is responsible for it. So operations manager must be very careful about the total inputs and outputs. So now who will maintain the quality of the inputs? Is it not the job of the operations manager? Input fabric is coming from the other factory, other company, other suppliers. So there is the issue of supply chain management. You have to control the quality through proper supply chain operations. And processing, while you are converting inputs into outputs, it is known as processing. You are responsible for process improvement. You are also responsible for the product. You are producing shirt, isn't it? So if the shirt has a defect, what will happen? If your shard has defect, then you cannot sell your product. So you must be very careful about the product. You must be very careful about the process. You must be very careful about the supply chain. Supply chain means that how you are getting your inputs from different sources. So the operations manager is responsible for product, process, supply chain. The operations manager is also responsible for improving quality. If the product has no quality, nobody will buy. Time. Time is really important. Time is related to your money, your labor cost. Say, for an example, labor cost. Say, for an example, it takes 5 minutes to produce a product, 10 minutes to produce a product. But if you can produce the same product at 8 minutes, what will happen? So labor cost for 10 minutes and labor cost for 8 minutes is same or different? Must be.
স্যার বুঝতে পারি
So, say for an example, you are producing product, shirt, all right? To produce a shirt, it takes 10 minutes. It takes 10 minutes to produce a shirt, all right? And the cost of 10 minutes is $5. Labor cost is $5 here, $5. Now, if you can produce the same product in 8 minutes, what will happen? What will happen for labor cost? Will it be same as $5? Because in 10 minutes, say for example, in 10 minutes, your labor cost per minute, 5 divided by 10, per minute labor cost is 0.5. But when you are producing in 8 minutes, what will happen? Your labor cost will decrease, because you don't need to pay for 8 minutes. So your labor cost will be 8 multiplied by 0.5. Per minute cost, your labor cost will go down to 4 minutes. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
So that means time is a factor. If you can produce the same product at lower time, your cost will decrease. Or not only labor cost, electricity. What will happen? Electricity will run for 10 minutes. Now it will run for 8 minutes. 2 minutes electricity cost will save. Depreciation. Your machine will run for 10 minutes. So there is a machine running cost. If you run the same machines for 8 minutes, your cost will decrease. So your time is related to your cost. Time is related to cost. So in
স্যার
addition to maintaining quality, you have to
স্যার
yes.
স্যার আপনি যেটার এক্সাম্পল দিতেছেন, আমি যদি ভুল না হই সেক্ষেত্রে আমি একটা জিনিস বলতে চাই। সেটা একটা এক্সাম্পল হচ্ছে যে স্যার, আপনি কোকা কোলা বা হচ্ছে স্প্রাইটের যদি দেখেন, ওদের যে মুখের যে সাইজ যেটা ছিল, মানে ক্যাপের যে সাইজটা ছিল, ওরা এটারে ড্রাস্টিকলি ছোট আর চিকন করে ফেলছিল। এটা কি একটা এক্সাম্পল করা যায় আপনি যে আপনার যে জিনিসটা এখন বুঝাচ্ছেন স্যার এটার সাথে?
Yes.
এটাতে তো ওদের কোটি কোটি টাকার মানে ইয়া হচ্ছে, প্রফিট হইতেছে, কারণ ওদের প্রোডাকশনের জন্য এই মানে ওই বড় মুখাটা দেওয়ার জন্য যেই কষ্ট হতো তার তুলনায় অনেক খরচ কম হচ্ছে, প্রথমত এই ছোট প্যাকেজিং এ। প্লাস হচ্ছে পার বোতল ওরা হচ্ছে অনেক টাকা সেভ করতেছে।
Good. So you are the supply chain expert now. You are the supply chain expert because the cork or the cap, you do not produce it at your own factory. What do? You collect it from the other suppliers. Other suppliers. So you are working in a high performance work system. Maybe you heard the word high performance work system. High performance work system means that you as a team member, team environment, you as a team member, you can help reduce cost of production and using less raw materials is also a way of reducing cost. Using less raw material is also help reduce cost of production. All right. So here we use the word inputs, raw materials. There are some other raw materials. Say, for example, in case of shirt, buttons are using, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
maybe in a shirt, there are 10 buttons. Now you have reduced the use of button to 9 somehow in the process. So what will
By
happen?
changing the button positions.
So button positions are in any way as an operations manager, using your experience, you can do it. Or you can use the small button, like the small cork. All right. You
And
can use the
changing the
small
trend
button.
or design sometimes help to reduce cost.
So that means as an operations manager, while you are adding value, so accessories, your raw materials can decrease your cost compared to the previous period. So that is what, although we have already discussing only one slide, however, there is very impactful what the operations manager doing, and your example is also very good example. Good example because you can reuse, you can use the less amount of raw materials that will also reduce your cost. So operations manager is also responsible to minimize the cost of production. Here we indicate cost of production, all right? And cost and quality. You cannot compromise quality while you are reducing cost. Remember, while you are maintaining good quality, you cannot blame that your cost is high. And while you are reducing the cost, you cannot blame that you have to reduce the quality. It is not offsetable. That means low quality, low cost is not acceptable for the operations manager. High
তো স্যার
quality, low
এই
cost
ক্ষেত্রে
is
তো আর
acceptable.
একটা এক্সাম্পল হচ্ছে স্যার যে আকিজের একটা প্রোডাক্ট ছিল যে ফার্ম ফ্রেশের একটা মিল্ক পাওয়া যেত, আপনি খেয়াল করছেন কিনা জানি না কখনো। ফার্ম ফ্রেশের আগে কিন্তু যে বিভিন্ন ফ্লেভারের যে মিল্ক গুলো ছিল ওগুলা কিন্তু আগে স্যার হচ্ছে টেট্রা প্যাকে আসতো। কিন্তু পরবর্তীতে সেটা চেঞ্জ করে ওরা প্লাস্টিক বটল ইউজ করা শুরু করছে ম্যাসিভ আকারে যখন এগুলোর সেল বেড়ে গেল। এটাও তো আর একটা এক্সাম্পল হইতে পারে। এটাতে ওদের তো প্রোডাক্টের কোয়ালিটি ওরা খারাপ করেনি, ওরা জাস্ট প্যাকেজিংটা ইয়া করে কস্ট রিডিউস করে নিয়ে
So
আসছে।
cost reduce. So there are a lot of ways, and you have to as a operations manager minimize cost, and minimizing cost doesn't mean that you are compromising quality. There is no trade-off between cost and quality. And operations manager role is to improve productivity and efficiency, performing activities well for least possible cost. Are you getting? Is Shushmita?
Sir, I have an appointment with doctor, so I may not continue the class. The record will get in the classroom, right?
Yes, you'll get it in your
Okay.
classroom.
Okay. So, sir, I have to take the leave.
So if it is, really you are in emergency, you can leave. Better to continue, all right?
Mm.
At
Thank you,
least
sir.
you be
Sorry.
connected with the class, all right?
Okay, sir. Okay. I'll try.
So,
Thank you, sir.
operations manager deals with product, process, supply chain. Operations manager also deals with time, cost, quality, and flexibility. Flexibility means while you are producing one unit, you have the option to be flexible to produce more or less. This is also one of the features of good operations management. Because if you deal with the Chinese manufacturers, Chinese manufacturer can produce very small quantity at the same time huge amount. It is there one of the good features of operations management. So flexibility is also important. Important. So operations, what is operations management? Operations management ultimately production management, and production management ultimately responsible for converting inputs into outputs. Production management is responsible to add value. Production management is responsible to improve productivity and bring efficiency in operations. All right. When we are talking about time, the time can be lead time, the time can be cycle time, the time can be manufacturing time, the time can be throughput time, the time can be value added time. So what is time? What is lead time? Lead time means the time in between order receipt and product delivery. So when you are receiving an order, after receiving the order, if it takes 90 days to deliver the product to the customer, the 90 days is known as lead time. The time between the placement and completion of an order. Completion means here delivery of the product. So lead time means the time between the placement and completion of an order. Say for example, if you are going to a tailor to cut a shirt. If you go to the tailor for making a shirt, you will place the order, and after 7 days you will get the shirt or pants. This 7 days is known as the lead time. And cycle time, the amount of time it takes to complete a specific task from start to end. So cycle time, say for an example, it will be very easy if you go to the garments factory. In garments factory, there are some cutting time, then sewing time, then finishing time. So how long does it take to start cutting and finish cutting? It is known as cycle time. One cycle. Then second cycle, from cutting to sewing. When the sewing started, when the sewing is completed, it is known as cycle time. So to complete a cycle for any specific job is known as cycle time. Is it clear what is cycle time? Maybe you are thinking then lead time and cycle time can be same. Yes, it can be same. When there is only one operation, then your lead time and cycle time will be same. But cycle time, usually we use the term to indicate a specific task. Maybe there are several tasks you have to do to finish your job. A specific one task. How long does it take to finish a specific job is known as cycle time. And especially in manufacturing companies, also we will discuss about the process velocity. Process velocity means the relationship between throughput time and value-added time. What is throughput time? Throughput time and the manufacturing time. Manufacturing starts, manufacturing ends. It is known as the from here to there is known as the throughput time. Manufacturing starts and manufacturing ends. It's throughput time. The total amount of time it takes to run a particular process. Here means manufacturing. In its entirely from start to finish. Start of production, finish of the production. This time is known as the throughput time. Throughput time. This throughput time is important in operations management to know the process velocity. And how to calculate process velocity from manufacturing start to manufacturing end. While you have started manufacturing, maybe there are some machine breakdown. So when the machine will be breakdown, the production will stop. Maybe raw materials crisis, you cannot start manufacturing. Maybe the workers are sick, they cannot join in manufacturing. So there are some disruptions during manufacturing. You have these disruptions in operations management known as, allowances, ALLOWANCES, allowances. You will deduct the allowances or disturbances from the throughput time. That will be your value-added time. Say for an example, in garments manufacturing, your throughput time is 10 minutes and disturbances or allowances is 2 minutes. So what is the value added time? Here the value added time is 8 minutes. 8 minus 2. 8 minutes is your value added time. Have you got it? What is throughput time and what is allowances and what is value added time? The ratio between the value added time and throughput time is known as process velocity. Process velocity. The relationship between throughput time and, say for example, here process velocity is 10 divided by 8. Maybe it is 8 divided by 10. 8 divided by 10. Process velocity is 8. If the allowances is 0, then the process velocity may be 1, highest. That means when your process velocity is 1, it indicates that there is no allowances. But if process velocity is, say for example, 90%, you have the option to improve your process velocity by reducing allowances. So your target will be to reduce the allowances or disturbances to 0 level. Then your process velocity will be 1. And this is one of the metrics in operations management, process velocity.
স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন ছিল, এই যে মাত্র যেটা বললেন যে অ্যালাওয়েন্স, এই অ্যালাওয়েন্সটা কি ফাইনান্সিয়ালি ইয়াতে বোঝানো হচ্ছে নাকি
Time. Minutes. Now you can convert it into financial calculations, because if you have any experience of visiting any manufacturing company, you will find that every company has a calculation per minute cost of a factory. Usually we say PMC, per minute cost of the factory. That means every minute is important. Every minute is important, and all companies calculate what is the per minute cost of the factory. Because this per minute cost, maybe in your some of you are finance major, you know, this per minute cost ultimately will help you to identify what is the per unit cost. Because if a product requires 10 minutes to produce a product and per minute cost is $1, then what will be the product cost, manufacturing cost? 10 times 1, $10. If the per minute cost is $2, then 10 minutes times 2, $20 product cost. So all companies all over the world calculate the per minute factory cost to know instantly what is the product cost. So time is a factor. The operations manager always try to minimize production time, because minimizing production time is related to company's total cost. So operations manager is responsible to minimize time. Operations manager is also responsible to minimize cost. There are many different aspects of cost analysis. Here, the operations manager is also responsible to minimize cost by increasing product volume. And if you can recall that, this is the manufacturing cost structure or cost of goods manufactured of a company. And these are the components of your value added. And you have to minimize this cost. So for example, raw materials cost. If you can minimize the raw materials cost, then your total cost of goods manufactured will minimize. If you can minimize the labor cost, your total cost of goods manufactured will decline. If you can minimize the manufacturing overhead, your total cost of goods manufactured will decrease. So the cost of goods manufactured or total manufacturing costs. If you can decrease the cost, what will happen? Your company's cost will decline, and as a result, the company's profit will increase. Company's profit will increase. It is the essence. And these costs
Sir,
are all related with production department. Do you have any confusions
জি
that
স্যার
these are costs not related with production department?
না স্যার এইখানে এই বিষয়ে আমার অন্তত কোনো ইয়া নেই। আমি যেটা বলতে চাচ্ছিলাম সেটা হচ্ছে স্যার, যে স্যার আমাদের দেশে মানে বাংলাদেশের কথা বলতেছি স্যার, আমাদের বাংলাদেশে তো স্যার এমনিতেই হচ্ছে আপনার আমাদের যে শ্রমিকের যে ওয়েজেস এটা অনেক কম, রাইট স্যার? সো দেখা যায় যে আমাদের দেশে কেউ চাইলে মানে বিশেষ করে বিদেশি যে সকল কোম্পানিগুলো আছে সে সকল কোম্পানিগুলো কিন্তু চাইলেই খুব অল্প খরচের ভিতরে ও মানে মানে আপনার যে মানে শ্রমিকের যে কস্ট যেটা, হ্যাঁ, এইটা খুব অন্যান্য দেশের তুলনায় অনেক কম খরচ হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশ থেকে প্রোডাকশন লেভেলে বা ব্যাচ লেভেলে কোনো কাজ করা হলে সেটাতে খরচ অনেক কম হয়, যেটা আমি বিশ্বাস করি। কিন্তু তারপরেও দেখা যায় যে স্যার আমাদের দেশে বৈদেশিক বিনিয়োগ গুলো থাকে না, বা বিভিন্ন বৈদেশিক যে কোম্পানিগুলো থাকে মানে ফরেন যে ইনভেস্টমেন্ট, যেটা ফরেন ডাইরেক্ট ইনভেস্টমেন্ট যেটাকে আমরা বলি, সেই ইনভেস্টমেন্ট গুলো বাংলাদেশে এরকম থাকে না। সেটার ভিতরে অন্যতম একটা আমি মনে করি যে কারণ থাকে যে ট্রাস্ট ইস্যুর একটা ইস্যুস থাকে, আমি এটা মনে করি। বাট এছাড়া আর কি ধরনের ইয়ে থাকতে পারে যার জন্য আমাদের তাহলে এই জিনিসগুলো হচ্ছে না? কারণ আমরা যেটা বুঝি যে স্যার আমাদের দেশে তো যে কস্ট যেটা আপনি বললেন এখানে ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং এর জন্য যে কস্ট গুলা, সেটা কিন্তু তুলনামূলকভাবে এশিয়ার দেশ বলেন বা এশিয়ার বাইরে যে কোনো দেশের কথাই বলেন, অন্যান্য দেশের তুলনায় অনেক কম।
Hmm. So FDI, international business issues, we don't want to talk more details. However, as the issue comes before us, that's why we are just giving you an idea. The idea, your idea and my idea is same. Labor cost is a factor for manufacturing. And Chinese labor was very cheap. That's why China has become the global factory. The another name in the Western world, they don't say China. They say global factory because of the labor. So huge human resources are there and the laborers are efficient, but in our country the laborers are inefficient. In our garments industry, laborers are there, but what is the alternative option of these laborers? কাজের বুয়া। তারা যদি গার্মেন্টস ফ্যাক্টরিতে কাজ না করতো, তাদের এমন কি কোয়ালিটি আছে যেখানে আরেকটা ফ্যাক্টরিতে কাজে লাগাতে পারতেন? কাজের বুয়া ছাড়া অন্য কোনো কাজই তাদের জন্য ফিট ছিল না। ওই ধরনের আনস্কিল লেবার ইজ অ্যাভেলেবল, ভেরি আনস্কিল লেবার, বাট অ্যাপল cannot open their factory here in Bangladesh because we don't have skilled labor. Unskilled laborers are here, but they cannot work in Apple. Toyota, no skilled labor is available. So
স্যার
lot of
টয়োটার
problems
কথা
are
যদি
there.
বলেন, স্যার টয়োটাটা করা সম্ভব, কারণ হচ্ছে আমাদের দেশে সব থেকে বেশি গাড়ির যদি কাজ করার কথা বলেন, যে সব জায়গায় কিন্তু টয়োটার মানে মেকানিক বা এদেরকে কিন্তু পাওয়া যায়। তারা কিন্তু এরকম কোনো প্রশিক্ষণের মাধ্যমে আসে নাই, বাট তারা কিন্তু কাজ করতেছে, কারণ তারা কাজ করে অভ্যস্ত। সো তাদেরকে যদি একটু ঘষা মাজা করা হয়, আমার মনে হয় যে এই জায়গাগুলোতে একটু ডেভেলপ করা সম্ভব।
এটা আপনার আপনার যে দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি আর তাদের যে দৃষ্টিভঙ্গি মেলে না। আমি আপনার এই টয়োটা ফ্যাক্টরিতে কয়েকবার গিয়েছি দেখছি তাদের কাজ বাজ দেখার জন্য। যে আপনার টয়োটায় গিয়ে যেটা এক্সপিরিয়েন্স হলো, তাদের কোনো হাতি কাজে কোনো কাজই হাতের নাই। বাংলাদেশে তো আপনি হয়তো বলতেছেন মেকানিক, বাট ইন টয়োটা ফ্যাক্টরি there is no human handle jobs, 100% automatic and robot operations are there. So that means Toyota's manufacturing system is not labor intensive, it is totally capital intensive. Mechanics is automobile engineers, automobile technicians. These are different issue. They are not important for automobile manufacturing. For automobile manufacturing, you need a robot industry, robot, because all automobile industries run by robotic operations. So in our country, the most important thing is the political turmoil and the corruption index. প্রফেসর ইউনূস বলছে, দেখেন নাই? বলছে যে সারা বিশ্বের মানুষ কিন্তু জানে যে আপনারা চোর বা কারাপ্টেড, নাকি? কারণ কি, ইন দ্য কারাপশন ইন্ডেক্স বাংলাদেশ ইজ
জি
নাম্বার
স্যার।
ওয়ান। যতই আপনি মনে করেন যে স্যার মনে হয় করাপশন করে না, ইজ ইউর রং আইডিয়া, বাংলাদেশের প্রত্যেকটা মানুষ করাপশনের সাথে জড়িত, প্রত্যেকটা মানুষ, 100%। মসজিদের ইমামও চুরি করে, আপনারা জানেন কি জানেন না? মসজিদের যে ইমাম
স্যার
আছে,
এটা তো স্যার আমাদের একদম মানে এটা কি বলে বলতে পারেন রক্তের ভিতরে মিশে গেছে এরকম একটা অবস্থা। এখন
কাজেই আপনার
হইতেছে
এই
চুরি
যে
করে মনে করেন হালাল
করাপশন
বানাতে হবে।
ইন্ডেক্সে মানুষ যখন একটা ফার্স্ট ওয়ার্ল্ডের একটা কোম্পানি দেখে যে আমি আমার প্রোডাকশন ফ্যাসিলিটি এমন কোন দেশে মুভ করব যে দেশে করাপশন ইন্ডেক্সে নাম্বার ওয়ান, কারণ কি তাকে তো সোসাইটি স্টেক হোল্ডারের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে, নাকি? স্টেক হোল্ডারের
জি
সাথে
স্যার।
কাজ করতে গেলেই তো সরকারের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে, ইউজারদের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে, বায়ারদের কাজ করতে হবে, ডিলারদের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে, র মেটেরিয়াল সাপ্লায়ারদের সাথে কাজ করতে হবে। অল আর কারাপ্টেড। দ্যাটস হোয়াই উই আর নাম্বার ওয়ান ইন কারাপশন ইন্ডেক্স। So if you cannot go beyond the corruption index, you cannot expect very good FDI. At the same time, human development index is also another factor, because when any company thinks to invest a huge amount of dollar FDI, they think about the human development index, they think about the corruption index, they think about the infrastructure index, they think about the financial uh, free movement of capital index. So all are negative for Bangladesh. All are negative. যেমন এই যে শেখ খালেদা জিয়া, যে খালেদা জিয়া তো এখন তো জেলে থাকতো নাকি? কি মনে করছেন?
জি
থাকতো
স্যার,
না?
যদি গত সরকার থাকতো তাহলে অবশ্যই জেলে থাকতো স্যার।
তাহলে এখন স্টেটমেন্ট দেয় কি? ইলেকশন চাই। তা ইলেকশন চাই, ইট ইজ নট ব্যাড, কিন্তু পরিস্থিতিটা কি যে আপনি আপনি যে আহ, দেশ চালাবেন, আওয়ামী লীগ আরেকটা আওয়ামী লীগের সরকার গঠন করবেন সেটা মোটামুটি নিশ্চিত। যে এখন যেই সরকারে আসুক, পলিটিক্যাল ভিউ পয়েন্ট সবার বিভিন্ন থাকতে পারে, কিন্তু যে সরকারই আসুক তাদের যদি বিএনপি আসে
এখানে
তাহলে সবার
পলিটিক্যাল
মোটামুটি
ভিউ
100।
পয়েন্টের থেকে গুরুত্বপূর্ণ স্যার যেটা ফ্যাক্ট। এখন পলিটিক্যাল ভিউ পয়েন্ট আপনি যেটা বলছেন, আমি একটা জিনিস মনে করি স্যার, যে যেটা ফ্যাক্ট সেটা নিয়ে সরাসরি কথা বলা উচিত। এটা না বললে আসলে সমস্যা স্যার। কে কি মনে করলো না মনে করলো এটা কিন্তু বিষয় না স্যার, আসল বিষয়টা হচ্ছে ফ্যাক্ট, যেটা হইতেছে সবার জানা উচিত বা উপলব্ধি করা উচিত আর বোঝা উচিত।
এখন এই যে একটু আগে বলছি যে কারাপশন ইন্ডেক্সে নাম্বার ওয়ান, এখন আমি কিভাবে করাপ্ট করি? এই যে আমি যেটা এখন বললাম, এই জিনিস তো আমি আপনার কোনো পেপারে কোনো নিবন্ধ লিখতেছি না। কারণ কি কেন লিখি না কারণ কি, সরকার আবার আবার বিএনপি সরকার আসলে আমার আবার চাকরি নিয়ে সমস্যা হবে। বুঝছেন যে কিভাবে আমি কারাপ্টেড? আমি যেটা সত্যি কথা বলার কথা সেটা বলতে পারতেছি না বা বলি না, বা বলার স্কোপ নেই। আপনি কি আন্ডার থ্রেট? কারণ বিএনপি সরকার আসলে আবার তো আপনাকে বিএনপির পলিটিক্স আমাদেরও করতে হবে, আবার জাতীয় পার্টি আসলে জাতীয় পার্টির পলিটিক্স
স্যার
করতে
আর
হবে।
একটা
কারণ কি,
আরেকটা জিনিস যেটা আমার কাছে খুব করে সেটা হচ্ছে যে দেখেন স্যার, আপনি কিন্তু আজকে আমাদের ক্লাসের ভিতরে যখন পড়াচ্ছিলেন, আপনি বলতেছিলেন যে হচ্ছে আমাদের দেশের যে মানে আপনি এক্সাম্পল যেগুলো দিচ্ছিলেন সেগুলো মোস্ট অফ দেম ছিল আর গার্মেন্টস রিলেটেড, রাইট? তো আমি একটা জিনিস মানে আমার কাছে খুব লাগে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে আমাদের দেশে এতগুলা গার্মেন্টস ইন্ডাস্ট্রি আছে, মানলাম তারা হচ্ছে ওইরকম না, কিন্তু তারা তো এক্সপোর্ট কোয়ালিটির গার্মেন্টস এর করতেছে। হ্যাঁ, তাদের লেবার হাতে সেলাই করুক যেভাবেই করুক, লেবারটা হয়তোবা ওই রকম স্কিল্ড না। আপনি যেটা বললেন যে কি মানে কাজের বুয়া স্ট্যান্ডার্ড, মানে তাদের কিন্তু হাতে ছাড়া আর কোনো এরকম স্ট্যান্ডার্ড নেই, যেটা আপনি তখন বলছিলেন স্যার। দ্যাটস দ্য ফ্যাক্ট, আমি অস্বীকার করি না। কিন্তু স্যার আমার কাছে একটা জিনিস খুবই প্রশ্নবিদ্ধ লাগে, এটা হচ্ছে স্যার যে এত বড় গার্মেন্টস ইন্ডাস্ট্রি, যে যারা হচ্ছে বিদেশে মানে ফরেন অন্যান্য বড় বড় ব্র্যান্ড কোম্পানির জন্য হচ্ছে আপনার পোশাক তৈরি করে হচ্ছে বিদেশে রপ্তানি করতেছে, কিন্তু বাংলাদেশের কোনো মানে কোনো একটা গার্মেন্টস এর থেকে কোনো হইতেছে ন্যাশনালি বলেন বা হচ্ছে মানে আন্তর্জাতিক পর্যায়ের কোনো ব্র্যান্ড নাই। ফর এক্সাম্পল এই যে আড়ং এর কথাই বলি, আড়ং ডোমেস্টিক্যালি হচ্ছে তাদের কার্যক্রম পরিচালনা করে। এখন আমার কাছে একটা জিনিস লাগে যে অনেকে বলে যে কি হ্যাঁ বাংলাদেশের নাই কেউ ওইভাবে করে নাই, কিন্তু আমার কথা হচ্ছে যে হইতে পারে যে যারা নিচু লেভেলের ছিল বা সাধারণ আপনার আমার মধ্যে হচ্ছে পর্যায়ের লোকজন, তাদের জন্য এই জিনিসটা খুব কঠিন হইতে পারে যে আমরা একটা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ব্র্যান্ড জেনারেট কইরা সেই জিনিসটা হচ্ছে ডেভেলপ করব বা আমাদের দেশের যে ফেস ভ্যালু সেটা জেনারেট করব। কিন্তু সত্যি কথা বলতে কি স্যার, এই যে বড় বড় কোম্পানি যেমন আড়ং এর কথা বলেন বা অন্যান্য যে সকল বড় বড় প্রতিষ্ঠান আছে, সেই সকল প্রতিষ্ঠানগুলো কিসের জন্য তাহলে এই জিনিসটা করতে পারেন না? আবার যদি বলেন যে মেডিসিন ইন্ডাস্ট্রির কথা যদি বলেন, আমাদের দেশের মেডিসিন ইন্ডাস্ট্রি কিন্তু খুব অত বেশি খারাপ তা না স্যার। আমাদের দেশের মেডিসিন কিন্তু খুব ভালো মানের মেডিসিন প্রডিউস করে। হ্যাঁ, কিছু কিছু আছে যে হয়তো বা মানে একটু ভেজালের কাহিনী আছে বা ইয়া করতে পারে, কিন্তু তারপরেও আমাদের দেশের কিন্তু একদমই যে সব ফেল না তা কিন্তু না স্যার। অনেক ভালো ভালো মেডিসিন ইন্ডাস্ট্রিও আছে। এইগুলাও কিসের জন্য হইতেছে ইন্টারন্যাশনাল পর্যায়ে এরকম ইয়া করতে পারলো না? এই জিনিসগুলো কিন্তু অনেক মানে প্রশ্ন তৈরি করে অ্যাজ এ স্টুডেন্ট,
প্রশ্ন
অ্যাজ
না,
এ
আপনার
বাংলাদেশি।
আপনার ঠিক
এই
আছে, আপনার
কোশ্চেন গুলো কাজ করে।
গার্মেন্টস নিয়ে আমি কথা বলি, আপনার যেগুলি পলিটিক্যাল না সেসব কথা বলি, যেমন ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করা নিয়ে আপনার এগুলি আমার একটা ইউটিউব চ্যানেল আছে, ওখানে ওখানে দেখবেন। ওইটা আজকে রেকর্ড দেওয়ার পরে ইউটিউব চ্যানেলে ঢুকেন, যে ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করতে পারে না এর কারণ কি, ইন্টারন্যাশনাল ট্রেডে কি আমাদের সমস্যা, এসব নিয়ে আমরা আহ, কথা বলি। এগুলোর অনেক রেকর্ডও আছে, ঠিক আছে। সো উই ক্যান টক অ্যাবাউট ইট লেটার বিকজ উই হ্যাভ টু ফিনিশ, অলরাইট।
সরি
সো
স্যার, মেবি একটু
ঠিক
অফ
আছে, এটা
ট্র্যাক
এটা
হয়ে
বুঝেন,
গেছিল কথাবার্তা।
উই আর ইন অফ ট্র্যাক, উই ক্যান ডিসকাস লেটার। ওকে, যে আমাদের আমাদের উই হ্যাভ টু বি কারাপশন ফ্রি, আওয়ার পলিটিক্যাল এনভায়রনমেন্ট মাস্ট ইমপ্রুভ, যে আমাদের এখন শুধু পলিটিক্স, বাংলাদেশে পলিটিক্স মানেই হলো একটা ইনকামের ধান্দাবাজি। এই ইনকামের ধান্দাবাজি আর পলিটিক্স একসাথে একই সাথে যদি চলতে থাকে, নো ইনভেস্টমেন্ট উইল কাম আপ, নো ইনভেস্টমেন্ট, বিকজ ফরেন ইনভেস্টার্স কনফিডেন্স ইজ ইম্পর্টেন্ট, they want to take their money back, they want to be profitable. So that's the problem. If in a corruption embedded economy, in a country where political parties are doing business, no investment will come. All right.
স্যার
So
সেই ক্ষেত্রে তো আমি মনে করি স্যার, গভর্নমেন্টও চাইলে পারলে চাইলে তো এই যে করাপশনের ইয়াতে এত সমস্যা, ওকে ফাইন, তাইলে তোমরা নিজেরাই ন্যাশনালি এরকম কোন ব্র্যান্ড জেনারেট করো যেখান থেকে তোমরা ইন্টারন্যাশনালি এগুলো ইয়া করো। সেখান থেকে হয়তো বা একটা পার্সেন্টেজ গভর্নমেন্টের লোকজনই খাইলো, সমস্যা নাই তো,
ওটা
তাও লিগেল
ওটা
থাকো।
আমাদের আমাদের ঠিক আছে, ওইটা আপনার গার্মেন্টস ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করা, এটা আপনার আমেরিকাই করতে দিবে না। কারণ কি, আমেরিকা ভিন্ন পলিটিক্স করে, আমেরিকাও তো ইকোনমিক পলিটিক্স করে, পলিটিক্যাল ইকোনমি। কাজেই
হ্যাঁ,
এটা এটা
পলিটিক্যাল
এটাও আপনার
ইকোনমিক্স তো
আপনার
তাদের আছেই স্যার।
ব্র্যান্ড ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করলে, আপনি যদি আপনার নিজের নামে একটা ব্র্যান্ড আপনি আহ, তৈরি করেন এবং সেই ব্র্যান্ডের নামে যদি বিক্রি করেন, সেই প্রোডাক্ট কেউ কিনবে না, ওয়েস্টার্ন ওয়ার্ল্ডেও কেউ কিনবে না। চায়নাই চেষ্টা করছিল নতুন ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করতে, চায়না ফেল করছে। চায়না ফেল করছে, মানে বুঝতেছেন যে চায়না অলসো ফেল টু ক্রিয়েট এনি ব্র্যান্ড, কারণ গার্মেন্টস ব্যবসাটাই ধরে রাখছে ইউএস আমেরিকান বায়াররা। কাজে এখানে
স্যার
ব্র্যান্ড তৈরি করা যাবে না।
আমেরিকা তো চায়নাকে থ্রেট মনে করে, তো চায়নার জন্য এটা হার্ডশিপ হইতে পারে আমাদের, কিন্তু আমরা কিন্তু আমেরিকার জন্য তেমন কোনো থ্রেট না, যেটা সত্যি কথা।
Threat না, কিন্তু
একটা
আমেরিকান
সেক্টর যদি
আমেরিকান
ডেভেলপ
বায়াররা
করি
কিনবে না
সেজন্য।
আপনাদের প্রোডাক্ট। আমেরিকান বায়াররা যখনই দেখবে যে এটা বাংলাদেশি ব্র্যান্ড, তখন আর কেউ কিনবে না এই প্রোডাক্ট, যত ভালোই কোয়ালিটি থাকুক। এটা তাদের, আপনার আমেরিকানদের মেন্টালিটি আর আমাদের মেন্টালিটি এক না। আপনি আমেরিকানদের যেভাবে দেখেন, আসলে তারা ওইভাবে ওই লোক না। নিজেদের ন্যাশনাল আইডেন্টিটি ক্রাইসিসে কখনোই তারা ফেলবে না। যখনই দেখবে যে আমার একটা দেশের কোম্পানি H&M ধরেন বা ম্যাঙ্গো, এই কোম্পানির জায়গায় বাংলাদেশি একটা কোম্পানি ড্রেস বিক্রি করতেছে, সেই ড্রেস কেউ কিনবে না। এটা তাদের আপনার বাই বর্ন, দে উইল নট বাই এনি ব্র্যান্ডস ফ্রম দি থার্ড ওয়ার্ল্ড কান্ট্রি কোনো ব্র্যান্ডের কোনো প্রোডাক্ট তারা কিনবে না। যাই হোক, উই ক্যান ডিসকাস অ্যাবাউট দ্য ব্র্যান্ডিং লেটার, বাট ফর দি মোমেন্ট দিস আর দি কস্ট অফ ম্যানুফ্যাকচারিং. Cost of manufacturing has three components: materials, labor, and manufacturing overhead. All are under the control of the production department. So production department is responsible to minimize the manufacturing cost, and they must try to minimize the cost. If the production department can minimize the manufacturing cost, the Operations manager will be the efficient operations manager. Otherwise, the operations manager will be inefficient manager, and inefficient operations manager will lose their job or lose their promotion. That means he will not get any promotion if operations manager is inefficient. All right. So to bring efficiency, minimize the cost of production, the operations manager will apply economies of scale. What is economies of scale? Economies of scale means that you will produce more quantity. When you will produce more quantity, what will happen? Your per unit cost will decline. Say for an example, when you are producing Q quantity, your per unit average cost is C. But when you are producing Q2, increase the production from Q1 to Q2, your average cost comes down from C to C1. So when you are producing more amount of product, then your average cost decreases. So as a production manager, what you have to do, you have to produce more amount of product, and that will decrease the cost of production. This is known as economies of scale. This is known as economies of scale. So economies of scale are cost advantages companies experience when production becomes efficient, as fixed cost can be spread over a large amount of goods. So here, to understand, better understand the economies of scale, we have to understand the fixed cost and variable cost. Fixed and variable cost. Maybe example is given here. So here, say for an example, the variable cost of a production factory is $10 and fixed cost is $100,000. The production capacity is 5,000. So now it is important. What is the capacity of your factory? So you can increase the production from Q to Q2, but your production factory must have capacity. Beyond capacity, you cannot produce. So here it says that the production capacity is 5,000 units. So that means the company, the factory can produce 5,000 units. Beyond 5,000 units, you have to use another factory. So when you are going to rent one more factory, your fixed cost will increase. All right. So maximum you can increase your production up to your 100% capacity. Beyond 100% capacity, you have to rent one more factory. When you are renting one more factory, that means your fixed cost, rental cost will increase. All right. So you can calculate the average cost and draw a cost curve showing 1,000 units production, 2,500 units production, and 5,000 units production cost, and 6,000 units production cost. Assume that producing beyond 100% capacity requires a more production facility. Say for an example, you have, maybe the example is given here. Economies of scale, yes. So it is the problem. It is the problem. The average cost. So now maybe some problem. So here the average variable cost of production is $15 and the fixed cost is 200,000. The production capacity is 5,000 units and calculate the cost and draw a cost curve showing 2,000 units production, 3,500 units production, 5,000 units production. Assume that producing beyond 100% capacity requires some more production facilities. So now, what is your fixed cost? Your fixed cost is, you know what is fixed cost? Say for an example, you are the production manager of the factory. The rental of the factory is 200,000. What is the rental of the factory? 200,000. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Rental of the factory is 200,000 and the factory capacity is 5,000 units. So you can produce 1,000 units, you can produce 2,500 units, you can produce 5,000 units. But can you produce 6,000 units?
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
No,
It's
good.
over
So
capacity.
to produce 6,000 units, what do you need to do? You need to rent one more factory. And the rental is 200,000 for one more factory. So your fixed cost will be 400,000 when you are producing 6,000 units. Are you getting? Your fixed cost will increase to 400,000 because you need to rental a new factory to produce more than 5,000 units. 6,000 is more than 5,000 units. When you are producing 6,000 units, your fixed cost will be double. Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now
When
you are
the
going
when the capacity is limited.
good. So when you are producing 1,000 units, your fixed cost remains 200,000. When you are producing 2,500, your fixed cost remains 200,000. When you are producing 5,000 units, your fixed cost becomes 200,000. But when you are going beyond your capacity, you have to rent one more factory and your fixed cost will increase to 400,000. And your per unit variable cost, say for example, your fabric cost. Fabric cost is same or different per unit fabric cost. When you are producing 1,000 units, you need $10 equivalent fabric, isn't it? Per shirt. Variable cost. When you are producing 2,500 units, your per unit variable cost is 10. Is it? Are you with me? Is it
Yes,
clear
sir.
that your fabric cost per unit will remain same, isn't it?
Ji, sir.
And your total variable cost, this is total multiplication, total variable cost, total variable cost, total variable cost, total variable cost. and your fixed cost is fixed, always fixed, isn't it?
Yes,
Fixed
sir.
cost is 200,000, 200,000, 200,000. When you are producing 1,000 units, your fixed cost is 200,000. When you are producing 2,500, your fixed cost remains 200,000. When you are producing 5,000 units, your fixed cost remains 200,000. But when you are going beyond, your fixed cost is increasing. So your per unit fixed cost is decreasing. 200,000. When your fixed cost, when you are producing 100,000, your per unit fixed cost is 200. When you are producing 205,000, your per unit fixed cost is 80,000. 80,000 means 200,000 divided by unit. When you are producing 5,000 units, your fixed cost is decreasing to 40 units. But when you are producing 6,000 units, your fixed cost, per unit fixed cost is increasing, and it becomes 67. So what's your average cost? Average cost is 210, 90, then 50, then 77. So your average cost is decreasing, and decreasing up to your 100% capacity. But when you are going beyond your capacity, your average cost is again increasing. Why? Because of your higher fixed cost. So units produced 100, 2,500, 5,600, 6,000, and your average cost becomes 210, 210. 210 means 200 plus 10, 210, 90, 50, and 70. So if you plot it in a figure, what will happen? You will find that your, say for example here, when you are producing 100 units, 1,000 units, your average cost, this is average cost, and this is your quantity Q. So when you are producing 1,000 units, your average cost is 210. When you are producing 2,000 units, your average cost is 90. When you are producing 2,500, and when you are producing 5,000 units, your average cost is 50. But when you are going beyond your capacity, your average cost is increasing again. So if you draw a line, you will find that your average cost was declining up to your 100% capacity. Beyond your 100% capacity, your average cost is again decreasing. That means your sales price will increase. So as a production manager, why the production manager must know about the economies of scale? Because the production manager will produce at 100% capacity. Below 100% capacity will increase the average cost, and above 100% capacity will also increase average cost. So that's why as an operations manager, you have to always produce at 100% capacity. And when you are producing at 100% capacity, your average cost will be minimum. Average cost will be minimum. And as a operations manager, what will be your strategy? As a operations manager, what will be your strategy? You will produce at
produce the peakest possible production goods production.
that means you
We
will
should try to
produce at 100% capacity. You will produce at 100% capacity. At 100%
capacity to reduce our cost.
All right. So operations manager can minimize the cost by producing at 100% capacity. And it is the peak, yes, peak for economies of scale. Economies of scale. So the operations manager is concerned with the fixed cost. The operations manager is concerned with the variable cost. And they can minimize the fixed and variable cost when they're producing at 100% capacity. Because your per unit fixed cost decreases when you are producing more number of units. Per unit fixed cost is decreasing when you are producing more number of units.
মানে
So as a
সহজ
product,
কথায় যখন আমরা বড় লটে র মেটেরিয়াল যদি কিনতে যাই সেক্ষেত্রে আমার খরচ কম পড়বে, কিন্তু হইতেছে আমি যদি অল্প পরিমাণে র মেটেরিয়াল কিনি খুচরা হিসেবে সেক্ষেত্রে আমার খরচ বেশি পড়ে।
now raw material is
এটা
your
একটা
variable cost. Raw material is your variable cost. Yes, there is also another point. If you can buy bulk raw materials, it will reduce your average cost. Maybe when you are producing, when you are buying more raw materials, the per unit fabric cost may be $8. That will also again help reduce your costs. But here, economies of scale are coming from the best utilization of your fixed cost. Fixed cost per unit is decreasing when you are producing more units. And economies of scale, the assumption of economies of scale is that your variable cost is fixed. Your variable cost is fixed. Only your fixed cost is spreading over more number of outputs. So as an operations manager, what you will try to do, you will try to produce at 100% capacity. That will minimize your average cost, and that will be the lowest average cost. But when you are producing beyond your 100 capacity, you have to think alternatively. Say for example, আপনি কি তাহলে 5,000-এর পরে 6,000 প্রোডাকশন অর্ডার আসলে করবেন না? করবেন। But you have to think alternatively. Maybe you have to introduce second shift, night shift, or you have to increase working hour, maybe from 8 hours to 9 hours. But if you think that the 9 hours rate is very high, your labor cost will increase. And if you will do such economies of scale analysis, and if you find that still your average cost is increasing, then you will not accept the order.
স্যার আপনি
But
যেটা বললেন স্যার সেটার ক্ষেত্রে যেমন এই যে আমার 100% ক্যাপাসিটি, ফর এক্সাম্পল এখানে 5,000 ইউনিটস যেটা আপনি এখানে উল্লেখ করছেন, কিন্তু এই যে আবার একটা এক্সাম্পল দিচ্ছেন যে 6,000 ইউনিট, 6,000 ইউনিট যখন আমি ইয়া করতে যাবো অবভিয়াসলি আমার 100%-এর জন্য যেই কস্ট হয়তো তার থেকে তো বেশি লেবার কস্ট আছে, প্লাস হচ্ছে অতিরিক্ত যে সময়টা আমার হচ্ছে মেশিনারিজ গুলো চলতেছে সেটার জন্য যে ইলেকট্রিসিটি ইয়া হচ্ছে ওইটার কস্ট গুলো তো বাড়তেছে। তো সেই ক্ষেত্রে কি স্যার সেটা কি আমাদের অ্যাকচুয়ালি কস্টটাকে মিনিমাইজ করতেছে নাকি অ্যাকচুয়ালি কস্টটাকে আরো ইয়া করতেছে, মানে ইউনিট অনুযায়ী মানে বৃদ্ধি করে দিল না?
এটা আপনার হয় কি যে আপনি যখন এই 5,000 বেশি করতে যাবেন, তখন তো আপনার ফিক্সড কস্ট তো সেম থাকবে, থাকবে না? ফিক্সড কস্ট তো সেম
জি
থাকবে।
স্যার,
তো
ফিক্সড
ফিক্সড কস্ট
সেম।
সেম রেখে যদি আপনি করতে পারেন তাহলে আপনার লস হবে না। কারণ আপনার কি যে ফিক্সড কস্ট তো আপনার মিনিমাম চলে আসছে, 40 থেকে 20-তে চলে আসছে, সে ফর এক্সাম্পল। তাহলে আপনার অ্যাভারেজ কস্ট হয়তো 50 থেকে এখানে 30 হলো, এখান থেকে হয়তো 31 হবে। But still, maybe your sales price is more than 31. So still you will earn some additional profit. অথবা আরো there are some alternative solutions. Say for example, you can outsource. Maybe the production cost is $30, but you can outsource 1,000 units from the another factory at $29. Again, cost savings will be there. So there are some alternative systems, but if still your factory is running at two shift, there is no other scope. then you cannot produce your additional 1000 units in your factory. You have to think alternatively, maybe outsourcing, or you have to decline to receive the order. So there are a lot of alternatives you have to think. You have to think even sometimes. Say for example, your buyer or the uh, people to whom you are going to sell is very trustworthy and he is working with for many years. So in that case, even if your cost is increasing, you are accepting the order for future relationship, customer relationship.
Good customer
So
relationship,
yes,
maintaining
good
the good
customer. So
customer.
CRM is also a factor. That's why when we teach you business administration, we teach you about the different departmental courses, marketing course. We teach you production course. We teach you about the finance course. We teach you about the customer relationship management course, so that you can manage the business properly. This is ultimately business administration course, and you are ultimately not the production officer, production manager. You are going to know about the functions of the production department to be a good manager, what they're doing. If you know, then the management of the department will be much easier for you, isn't it? So that's why it's a
Yes, sir.
comprehensive managerial degree. You will be the manager, you will not be the production officer. So what the production officer is doing, if you know, then you will be good manager. So our target is not to make you engineer or production officer. Our target is to give you some comprehensive ideas so that you can manage that department properly. All right, that is our target.
Yes, sir.
Okay. uh, so we have to think about the cost. So maybe you can do it. Can you do it? Then it will be good lessons for you if you can do it. What is the average cost? Try it. Can you try? What is the
স্যার
average
এখানে কি
cost
করতে
here?
হবে?
So calculate the average cost. When you are producing 1000 units, 2500 units, and 5000 units, and 7000 units. Maybe you can try. What is the average cost when you are producing 1000 units? When you are producing 2500 units, 5000 units, and 7000 units. Or, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So this system is that you can draw a economies of scale. This is ultimately the economies of scale that we have shown in our example here. All right.
Yes, sir.
So operations manager is concerned with cost. The operations manager is concerned with quality. And quality, maybe you will find that ISO 9000 certified company. ISO 9000 certified company means that the company has quality management system. So ISO, International Standardization Organization, ultimately certifies the system. A quality control system is in use, and the system clearly defines an expected level of quality. The system is fully operational and is backed up with detailed documentation of quality control procedures. The intended level of quality is being achieved on a sustained basis. This is known as the quality certification. And quality, the definition of quality is it is conformation to standards. And flexibility is coping with the incoming materials of varying quantity levels. Flexibility in satisfying the market demand for products by varying quantity levels. Flexibility in competing against new products introduced by the competitors. Flexibility in modifying existing products. Flexibility in changing delivery and development schedules. Flexibility in accepting demand volumes of varying levels. Flexibility in making changes to the product mix. Flexibility in coping with changes to the resource mix. So operations manager must be flexible from different points. Raw materials. Will you use the same raw materials forever? No. You will be flexible to use the raw materials. Say for example, we are using cell phone. We can use any, SIM, but in our time, in our student life, we found that the city cell was there. There you cannot change the SIM. It was not flexible. That's why the city cell has lost its business.
জি স্যার, সিটি সেলের মোবাইল গুলোর ক্ষেত্রে যেই মোবাইলে যেই সিমটা দেওয়া হয়তো সেই সিমটা অন্য মোবাইলে ভরলে সিটি সেলের জন্য যে মোবাইল গুলো ছিল সেই মোবাইলের ভিতরে অন্য কোনো মোবাইলে ভরলে ইউজ করা যাইতো না।
So that was not flexible. Operations must be flexible. And we discuss about these issues. Say for example, product, process, supply chain, value-added productivity, effectiveness. All right. So maybe you have got the idea about the lecture. Today we ultimately